10, 15 years now. And it's because we genuinely care about each other. And so that's been the path.
And also, it's sort of been my experience that when you're younger, to put down those boundaries between work and businesses also means that you don't have to be so emotional in some ways in the business if you're keeping everything out, that you're able to kind of go in, be professional, enjoy that, feel strong about that, feel like you're doing something, and not feel like you're muddying the waters. And then as you get older and you feel more worthy, then it's kind of easier to be a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly very grounded in who I am, and it's odd because I've always known who I am. So it's like, well, what's the difference? But there is somehow this very instinctive, I know who I am. I'm very relaxed and, confident about it, and it just lets me be. And then you can just, bring your authentic self forth, and it's really a gift, really.
Let me ask you this. The internal critic often comes to us in moments of difficulty, stress. It can make someone self-doubt and impact decision-making. Have you ever experienced this in the 25 years you've been working? And what can you share with our listeners of how you were able to repair that situation of difficulty when it came up for you?
Yeah, definitely. I've had it described as, picking like the hammer up and hitting yourself with it, with those internal thoughts of I can't do it, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or fill in whatever negative phrase that would be for someone. And yeah, I mean, I definitely, had that period where that would be kind of my go-to, or I can't, or I'm not sure, I'm not sure is a decision also. It's being indecisive because you don't trust yourself. So, for me and my path that I've taken, I spent a lot of time after my divorce, working, through, personal development courses. So, I mean, I still remember the facilitators, talking to like a group of us and saying, put the hammer down. Stop beating yourself up with this mental hammer, tell that voice inside to shut it. And so, again, it's something that seems so distant now. I mean, I don't have that negative chatter come up very often. And when it does, it's very, very easy. It's fleeting, nanoseconds, it usually goes away on its own, or it's, I can just redirect myself to, oh, that's really exciting, or, oh my gosh, what a great opportunity, that kind of thing.
And once upon a time, maybe you would have dramatized it. I mean, not dramatize it, but it would have been hard to de-escalate it.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
And now it's easier in some ways to de-escalate it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Not only does it not really come up, almost never, but when it does, like I said, it's just very, very fleeting, very, very easy to dismiss.
Why is it so important for female entrepreneurs to find their own tribe? And what advice would you give them on how to find them? And then the question that I always think doesn't get asked enough, which is what do you need from your tribe? What is it that you're looking to sort of bring into your life as a resource?
Well, that's a lot. Why is it important? Well, I mean, I think that like attracts like, universally speaking. So, if you're in alignment with who you're doing business with, or, who's on your team, things are going to be a lot smoother, and you're going to have a lot less transition than if you're not in alignment. And I don't mean, you have to believe in every single same thing. I mean, it's kind of like marriage. I mean, it's like you might have different opinions about sports teams or food, what you like for dinner tonight, but the core values are the same. Those things like the integrity, the honesty, those core values are really key. I mean, I think, when you have your tribe, it's important to have those core values. It's essential to have those core values in alignment. And, it's a lot easier, I think, to find those things nowadays because there are so many resources like we talked about, a few minutes ago. I mean, there's so many, just women's groups, professional women's groups. And, there's There's some for people just starting out. There's some for women who are really established. There's entrepreneurs networks. There's networks for people who are doing like multi-level marketing. I mean, there's so many places that one can reach out now and find support, and I really resonate towards people that are similar interests, similar likes, etc. So it's a lot easier to do nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the importance of it, I mean, these are people that you're spending huge swaths of your life with, so
right.
It's good to be enjoyable. But it's important. I mean, I certainly look for someone, people who will hold you accountable, people
Mm-hmm.
who will be authentic and open and honest. I mean, you don't want a feedback tank where, it's like, yes,
Right.
even though they're thinking, no.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have open, honest communication at Alexandretta. So we know that if we're saying, oh, can you change that PowerPoint deck and, move this image around and change the font size, the person who's doing that work is not taking it with, well, they don't like my work and I'm not
Right.
appreciated. It's, oh yeah, that's fantastic. Right. We can work together to make this even better. Two heads are better than one. And it's,
and part of my, the focus of my podcast is to sort of, let's say, destigmatize those people who do beat themselves up because they feel like they're being criticized when actually we're just asking you to change the font and it's no big deal about you.
mm-hmm.
And kind of, I think that's the other thing about finding a community that you feel comfortable with, where that, sort of like what we're doing today, that things that feel uncomfortable, you can talk about, uncomfortable psychologically, you can talk about and say, it's not a make or break. It's just about kind of finding the right rhythm for you and the right people to surround yourself so you get the support.
Yes. I mean, there's that saying, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Right. And it's right. true words there.
Yes, absolutely. Before we end, what are the top 3 things a female entrepreneur needs to be successful in your opinion and experience?
I mean, definitely a positive mindset. A lot of the things that we've been talking about today. I think that foundation is absolutely critical to have. I mean, you can know everything about your craft, but if you don't have the mindset to, go forward, that's huge. I think definitely a financial plan is hugely important. It doesn't mean you need to be flush with cash. It just means you need to have a plan for moving forward so that you can, support the business until it's truly established. And then I do believe, having the right tribe around you. And if you're a solopreneur, that means, friends and family who will support you and say, yes, you can, and be a sounding board. And if you do have a team, those like-minded, core value aligned individuals that will, only make the team stronger.
Absolutely. All great suggestions and recommendations. I want to thank you, Melissa, so much for sharing with our listeners today your motivation for why you chose to be a female entrepreneur, and also how you overcame some of the psychological challenges that you encountered during your inspirational journey. Where can people reach out to you to learn more about your work?
They can certainly go to our website, which is alexandrettaconsulting.com, or they can reach out to me at info@alexandrettaconsulting.com.
Great. Thank you so much for joining me today, Melissa.
Great work, Leslie. Thank you so much.
This podcast is brought to you by Women Entrepreneurs Global, the first startup studio and digital DIY startup platform for women. For more information on her guests, this podcast, and many other female founder programs, please visit womenentrepreneurs.global. We believe in open and non-stigmatizing dialogue about the hidden psychological difficulties experienced by many successful entrepreneurs and highlighting the strategies used to overcome them, such as the fear of failure, of not being good enough, and that loud, chattering internal critic is critical to helping other founders achieve success. Please join her next week for more Mindset for Success stories. That was Dr. Leslie Knudsen, and you can drop her a line at dr.leslieknudsen@dr.leslieknudsen.com.